This is Kelly Hill, technology reporter for RCR Wireless News. I'm here today with Grant Henderson of Radisys, and we are at LTE North America talking today about VoLTE and virtualization, both big topics, I think, here at the show, along with 5G. But let's talk a little bit and start. Can you give us a bit of an introduction to Radisys and what you folks do?
Sure. So Radisys is a technology company that has historically built embedded hardware products, and we're a bit in transformation now. We are shifting as a company from embedded products to software and solutions. So our portfolio consists of our traditional embedded products as well as three new thrust areas. Flow Engine is our SDN programmable switch designed to help NFV scale. Media Engine is our IP media processing technology that we are the world leaders in with over 50% global share, and it is used in helping operators drive costs out of their network and accelerate new services by combining all of their media processing on a common platform. Cell Engine is software technology that we build out of our Bangalore office, and it is software for small cells that go into people's femto, access points, etc. And we wrap that all together with professional services. We have a team that can adapt these products to our partners and our customers' specific needs.
You guys do a lot of work in VoLTE, and so I'm wondering if you can tell me a little bit about what you're seeing in terms of trends in that area.
Sure. So we, as a supplier of media processing technology to the industry, work with companies like Nokia and Mavenir and Samsung and Metaswitch and a variety of other players. And so with that, we get a unique perspective of what's happening in the industry. VoLTE is very much the way the industry is moving. I don't think there's any debate about that. It goes very well with voice over Wi-Fi in enabling broader coverage, and it is certainly growing. I think the most interesting thing I've heard recently was that T-Mobile has over a third of their calls now over VoLTE. Now clearly some operators aren't moving quite as fast as T-Mobile, but it is without doubt the direction that the industry is taking, and not just because VoLTE delivers higher quality calls, faster call setup, but also because it allows operators to reduce their costs, to refarm spectrum and to reuse that spectrum to deliver more broadband data services.
Great. One of the interesting things I think that's happening with VoLTE is virtualization. Operators going straight to, we're going to virtualize this service, we're going to have it be very elastic and scale as needed. We can do that because there aren't very many subscribers on it right now, and so we don't have the same barriers to virtualization that we might if we were really worried about supporting a legacy service. Let's talk a little bit about maybe virtualization in VoLTE, and then I'm wondering if you can kind of step back and talk about what you're seeing in terms of virtualization in the larger telecom marketplace.
Sure. So virtual IMS is a core part of VoLTE, and we do see continued evolution in that regard. Depends on the operator whether they're embracing a virtual IMS or whether they have more traditional IMS, and I think there's merits to both approaches. For those operators that are deploying virtual IMS, they're commonly taking their application servers, their CSCFs, and a variety of the other signaling and control components and virtualizing those. Where they sometimes run into problems is at the data plane. Virtualizing an SBC can be quite challenging because of the throughput, the performance, the latency requirements, and similarly in our product, the virtualized MRF can be quite difficult to do. We actually have a physical and a virtual MRF so that we can address both market needs. Those people who have very high scale, very high demand requirements, are delivering video services to a large subscriber base, may be better served with traditional physical network functions. And in the case of smaller operators or operators who have a more progressive view of the market, our virtualized MRF is very viable. So we try to give the operator the choice of which technology they use and deploy.
Great. Well, I do have one more question, and this kind of came up yesterday in some of the signaling discussions that were going on, and I thought it was really interesting talking about the change in signaling when you're talking about an LTE network. There's some very signaling heavy features there, but then when you start talking about virtualization, the impact that can have on things like orchestration and management. Do you have any thoughts on kind of SDN, NFV, and sort of management, and and how all of these things fit together?
Yeah, the virtualization is just part of the journey that we're on. Certainly, you must virtualize your physical functions, but without embracing the true concepts of cloud and the scalability, the elasticity that things like OpenStack deliver to us, we're not going to achieve that scale that's required as additional things such as signaling traffic increases. We won't be able to address that quite as well. So virtualization, a key component, true elasticity, cloud models, both from a business perspective as well as technology, are essential for the industry to evolve.